Miss James. Miss James?
Dobbins, I believe you're sober right now, believe me, but you've already got 8 drunken disorderlies on your record. No. Doesn't mean we're not going to try just as hard. But you've lost 5 times in that count as it is. Look, I'll see you in court, okay? You just stay sober. Yeah, bye.
Yes, may I help you?
Is this the office of Mr. Petrocelli?
Yes, it is.
Yes, I'm Mr. Petrocelli.
Signor Petrocelli.
Come posso servire?
Prego, ascoltimi un momento.
Ah, sì, come andrà per Petrocelli?
Oh, forgive me. Maybe for the young lady we speak English.
It would help. I'm learning, but not quite fast enough.
This is my wife, Mrs.
Donato. You know the name?
No.
We have a grocery store on Cochise Street.
Well, we've never heard of it, but you've just gained 2 new customers.
Grazie.
Would you care for some coffee?
Oh, coffee. Yes, please. That is good.
It'll just be a minute.
Mrs. Donato?
We have a son, Signor Petrocelli. A good boy. Some problems, yes. But never any trouble. The police, they come to the house this morning. They ask for Frank. They say he's in trouble.
Did they tell you why they wanted him?
For a killing. They say he killed a girl.
Signora.
Oh, Dio, Signor Petrocelli.
Signora.
Aiutami.
Signora, non ti preoccupare.
Aiutami.
Non ti preoccupare, signora. Say, Gary. Munson? Book any big acts lately?
Well, hello, counselor.
Listen, you got a,
Frank Donato.
Yeah. Yeah, how'd you know?
You're kidding. Donato, Petrocelli, what else? Yes, sir, we've got him good.
Yeah, well, spell good.
Well, we're finishing the paperwork now. You can pick up a copy on the way out.
Gee, I wouldn't leave without one. Hey, listen, Munson, you know why it's good to have an Italian lawyer defend an Italian client? You can hide a hacksaw in the pizza. Frank? I'm Anthony Petrocelli. I'm your lawyer.
Figures.
What figures?
I know just how they got you. To look through the phone book under lawyers, saw your name. And it's a good old Italian name. Hey, it gotta be a good lawyer.
Well, maybe they were right.
Nothing against you, Mr. Petrocelli. It's just typical of the way they think. They've lived here over 20 years, and still they don't trust the natives.
Well, you know what, kid? My folks came from the old country, too. It's the same with them. They feel a lot better with their own people, but nothing the matter with that.
Well, who called you Mr. Petrocelli? My father.
Why does it matter?
Yeah, it matters.
Your mother. She came to see me.
Well, he wasn't with her.
Hey, now, look, kid, what you got with Emma's, that's none of my business, see? Only you are. I just want you to tell me how you happen to get in this guest house here.
Well, you know about as much of it as I do. It started out in the afternoon. Another fight with my father. We just can't seem to talk with each other. We don't see anything the same way. So we had another argument. But this time it was different. This time he hit me and told me to get out. We always fought about the same thing. He wanted me to follow in his footsteps and eventually take over the store. It didn't matter to him that I had my own life to lead. So I went out and started drinking. I guess I hit quite a few places. I don't know. I don't usually have more than a couple. I ended up over at the Redwood Bar, just sitting there. Funny, it was one of those nights that the booze never really took hold. I guess I kind of had my second wind by then. Then she came in. Like I said, I kind of knew her from school.
Are you busy tonight?
Anyway, one of the guys there tried to make a pass. Then I guess she recognized me and came over.
Excuse me, aren't you Frank Donato?
Yes, I'm Frank Donato. How do you do? And we started talking. She was juiced up about something. It really felt good. Anyway, it turns out she didn't have her car, so I said I'd drive her home. And by the time we got there, I was feeling pretty good. Nicky seemed to be playing up to me, so I figured it might end up a pretty good night, you know?
Want a
She
drink?
told me to get comfortable. She said she'd fix me a drink, but first she had to make a phone call.
What did she say who she was calling?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't remember her name anyway. Does it matter?
Yeah, it might. Well, go ahead.
Well, by then, the booze was getting to me. And she didn't seem to be gone very long, but then I wasn't thinking too clearly. Couldn't be sure of anything. Anyway, I guess she was gone longer than I thought, because she changed when she got back. Not just her clothes, her mood, everything. I went to say goodnight, and she let me have it. Don't ask me why.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Anyway, she was
The
sorry.
bathroom's right through there.
Told me I could clean up there. Well, I went in and cleaned up. And I was really loaded by then. I came out, saw the bed, and just passed out.
How long were you out?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I was all the way out.
Okay, I'll buy that. Then what?
I was laying there, not quite out. It seemed like I heard voices, but I'm not sure.
I don't want you here.
But something woke me up. I don't know. I got out of the bed and tripped, fell into the table and broke the lamp. Cut my hand, too. When I looked to see what it was, oh, man, I knew she was dead. I felt her pulse, and then I noticed the blood from my hand on her shoulder. Then I just panicked and ran. It's a dumb story, Mr. Petrocelli, but it's true. I never killed her.
Any idea who she was talking to?
I'm not even sure anybody was there. Could have been just her.
It couldn't just be her.
Why not?
If no one else was there, then you killed her.
I don't remember much, but I know it wasn't me.
Let me lay it to you straight, Frank. You got a lot of things going against you. But you got two things going for you. A law that says a man is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, what else?
Me, Goomba. Me.
Hey, counselor. Wait up. We gotta talk.
Well, pick a subject.
All right, you know I'll be prosecuting the Donato case.
Congratulations.
And if you've seen the police report, you know we've got a lock.
Well, not according to my client.
You got another innocent one, huh?
Well, that's funny. I thought that's what lawyers were hired for. Or shouldn't we bother going to trial?
Oh, yeah, we'll go to trial, all right. That's what I want to talk to you about.
Why, do you want to make a deal?
Maybe. You plead him guilty, we'll go easy on him. I'll give you no premeditation, so that rules out murder one. Maybe we'll settle for manslaughter.
No way, no way. See, that's not what my client told me. He told me there was someone else there.
Now, isn't that interesting?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, not more than half an hour ago, we had an eyewitness come in. He says he was parked outside Miss James' home all night. Claims he saw her and the Donato boy go in, saw him come out, and swears on a stack of Bibles that no one else came or went. Think about it.
Steak tonight, right?
Wrong. Steak went up to $4.17 a pound today, and I refuse to pay it.
Oh, wow. Looks like you've been shopping at Fort Knox, huh? What do we get in place of it?
Hot dogs with buns to match.
Oh, come on, honey. No, we're not that broke.
No, but it would help if we had a few paying clients.
Well, I see. If we want steak, in other words, I guess we better just hope for a crime spree from the San Remo butchers, huh?
Well, it wouldn't hurt.
Howdy! No steaks ready. I'm just about as hungry I could eat my own cooking. Well done. A lot of ketchup.
Let's take a walk. Pete?
You know, one of the nice things about working for you, Tony, is that the pay is bad, but the food is just great.
Great. I'll speak to the boss, see if I can get you a raise. Now, what'd you find out about that girl?
Well, she isn't the everyday average Miss Nobody. Her daddy is State Senator Sam James, our next candidate for governor.
Well, at least that's what people seem to think.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I didn't even know that he had a daughter. Anyway, him and her, they don't get along nohow. And her mother died about 10 years ago, and he shipped her right off to school in Europe. About 3 years ago, he got remarried, and then she come back to university, and looks like she didn't want nothing to do with him nor the new mother.
Is she still in school?
Yeah. Well, no, she graduated about a year ago, and she's been living in that house all by herself for the last 2 years.
But she got a job?
Not that I could find out. She doesn't care a lot about her old daddy, but she doesn't mind taking money away from him.
Okay, Pete, look, keep digging, will you? She showed up late at the Redwood Bar without wheels. And that's too far to walk. So I want you to try to find out how she got there.
You bet.
Hey, dinner is served.
Oh, boy.
Hot dogs?
Now you know why the pay is bad.
Eat.
Honey, pull the string a little tighter. That's it.
You think we'll have a house before snow flies?
Son of a gun. Now, what kind of question is that to ask?
Well, judging by past performance.
Judging on past performance, I could be arrested for what I'm thinking right now.
You don't have to go to town today, do you?
I might. Maybe it's a butcher with a lawsuit.
Honey, it was Senator James.
Senator James?
Yeah. He wants to know if you will be kind enough to stop by his house on your way to work.
Okay, you call him back and tell him I'll be there in an hour.
Okay.
Mr. Petrocelli?
Mr. Petrocelli.
Senator?
Sam James. This is my wife, Annette.
How do you do? Sit down, please.
Thank you.
Would you like some coffee?
Yes, thank you. I'll be fine.
Thank you for coming so promptly.
I'm really sorry to hear about your daughter, sir.
Oh, thank you. It's very difficult, I can assure you of that. The worst part of it is that it's such a waste of a beautiful life. She was my only child and a very beautiful girl. Mr. Petrocelli, I called you because you're handling the defense for this man, what's his name, Gerardo?
That's Donato, Frank Donato, sir.
Yes. I'm not a vindictive man. I hold nothing for this Donato but grief. Whatever has happened, it's over now.
Oh, are you trying to tell me something, Senator?
Yes, I am. I've already spoken to the prosecutor. They're willing to settle for a lesser charge in order to get a speedy trial when you plead your man guilty.
Well, why do you think he's going to plead guilty?
What do you mean? He killed my daughter.
No, not according to him, he didn't, sir.
But Mr. Petrocelli, the prosecutor told me the case he has against your client, the evidence is overwhelming.
Overwhelming, perhaps, but not conclusive. Yes, he was there when it happened, but there's no proof that he did it.
Do you mean to say you're going to fight this all the way through to the end?
I'm going to talk to my client. I'll relay the state's offer to him. If he still says he's innocent, then yes. Yes, I intend to fight it.
Mr. Petrocelli, I was hoping you were a reasonable man. I see I was wrong. But don't try to further your reputation at my expense. Nikki is dead. I want her to rest in peace. I don't want you to drag her around like a tail on your kite. I want this over quickly and done with.
What about the Donatos? What about what they want for their child? Could it be, Senator, that you're only interested in speed and not in justice?
Mr. Petrocelli, I have enough power, I can have it done my way.
No, sir, there's one place you don't have enough power. And that's in a court of law. You see, the statue of justice is blindfolded. Because when you and the Donatos stand in front of her, you all look the same.
Mr. Petrocelli. Wait just a moment, please. I hope you understand, Mr. Petrocelli. My husband is a good man, and he loved his daughter very much, but she hurt him badly. And I beg you not to let her ghost come back and finish the job.
Well, I am sorry, Mrs. James, but I don't understand.
No, I guess you can't. But are you so sure you can get Donato off, even if he is innocent?
Well, it's a good place to start from. Goodbye, Mrs. James. How do you like it? This has been here all this time, we never even knew about it, huh?
What would Mama say if she knew?
Are you kidding? She still thinks I'm the only Italian west of the Mississippi. You know that. I'm home. Smell those cheeses.
Very cheesy.
Ah, Mr. Petrocelli and Mrs. Petrocelli.
Buongiorno,
Mag,
signora.
please.
Can I get something for you? A little coffee with anisette?
No, thank you.
Frank, how is he?
He's all right. We had the preliminary hearing, and he's gonna go to trial.
I know, I read in the paper. You think it's strange I don't go to see him?
No, Mrs. Donato, I think I know why.
Frank is my son, but for only 24 years. His father is my husband for over 40 years. They are from two different worlds. Neither will cross over. Neither one will say to the other, I love you. So I, who love them both, I must choose.
Mrs. Donato, where is Mr. Donato?
In the park, not far from here. He likes to walk in the afternoon. He and the other men, they build bocce court. You know bocce?
Yes, yes. My father was known as the Babe Ruth of the bocce circuit, but me, you know, I try.
Like Frank. Vito, he used to play every afternoon. Now he just sit and he watch.
Mr. Donato? I'm Anthony Petrocelli.
You join me.
Thank you.
Mr. Petrocelli, you're an attorney?
Yes?
Your father, he's an attorney, too?
No. My father is a brick mason.
Hey, tell me, your father, did he want you to be a brick mason?
Well, as a matter of fact, he gave me my choice. Carry a trowel or carry law books. But, no, I suppose that he would have wanted his son to follow in his footsteps, yes.
Is it wrong to want to give your child something, huh? To watch him as you give him something you spent your whole life to build, eh? Your father is he an old man?
I really never thought of him that way. A man about your age, I suppose.
No, we were married more than 20 years when Frank was born. See, I raised him as I had been raised. All I knew about children was what I learned when I was a child. My father raised me. You know, a father can't always be without a mistake, but he's always a father. He must be respected, eh? But that's not the new way, the modern way, you know. And so we fought. And I was too old to change, and he was too young, too, and... When I ordered him out of the house, my heart was crying, "Stop, I love you." I couldn't say it to him. Now, he sits in the cell, and I can't go to see him. All I want is for him to say, "You may be wrong, but you're my father, and I love you."
Tony, where you been? I got him inside.
Oh, what are you talking about? Who? You got who inside?
The guy that dropped Nicky at the Redwood Bar. And you ain't gonna believe it.
Right now, I'd like to believe it's the Santa Claus.
Mr. Watson, this is Mr. Petrocelli. You want to tell him your story?
Watson?
Yeah, well, like I told your man here, I don't want to get mixed up in nothing. I'm a married man, see. Like I told the cops, I don't know nothing.
Well, look, I'm not a marriage counselor. But how well did you know Nicky?
I didn't know her at all. I just called her that night.
Well, if you didn't know her at all, then how come you called her?
Well, a friend of mine was here last year, and he gave me her number. He gave her a great recommendation.
Hey, wait. What are you trying to tell me? You mean she was a prostitute?
Yeah, she was a pro. She turned a $50 trick.
I can't figure it out. A girl like that, why would she do it?
It wasn't because the piggy bank was empty, that's for sure.
Especially when you think what it could do to Senator James if that kind of a thing ever got out.
Well, at least now I know why he wanted to bury the trials.
That's right. He can kiss that governorship goodbye if something like that comes out.
You know, maybe that's why she did it, to get back at him.
You know, that would give him one heck of a motive, Tony, for wanting her out of the way.
Oh, it could have been any one of her former dates. You know, he came by late, found her with somebody else, and they had a fight.
Well, except for the eyewitness. He said no one came or left except Frank and the girl.
I got so excited about Watson, I forgot to tell you. A friend of mine down at headquarters, he pulled a sheet on that witness.
Iron out that sheet for me right now.
His name is Dan Crawford. He's a private investigator. He was hired by the senator to keep an eye on the girl. You can probably find him down at the tennis courts.
Yeah, I guess it will all come out in the trial. I was on the job that night. Like I told the police, I usually tailor all night, but I lost early that night in a hotel downtown. So I drove out to her house and waited. About 10 o'clock. Nobody came in and around until she and the kid got there about 3:15. I wrote down the license as usual, and then nobody came in or out till the kid came running out about 5 or 5. Well, then the milkman came, and you know the rest.
You been tailing her for long?
About a month.
Did she date often?
Well, you know, that was kind of funny. Once, maybe twice a week, that's all. And she stuck pretty close to home.
Did she have any kind of pattern at all?
Well, mostly older guys, 40 or better.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I was surprised when she showed up with that kid. You know, there was something kind of strange. Every time she went to a hotel and she came down, she'd go to a phone booth and make a call. Then she'd go home.
I mean, nobody showed up after she called?
No.
Thanks.
Hey, look, if you can ever use my services, I'm in the phone book.
Well, thanks anyway, but I've already got an ex-cop who works for Food and Promises.
Hey, Petrocelli! Wait up.
What happened? Your case bring a leak?
No, it's still good. But the heat's really on.
Why, who's on fire?
Come on, you know who. Me. I got a lot of pressure to get this case over with.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah. What did Donato say about the plea?
Well, I gave him a choice, but he refuses to cop out.
You're taking a chance with that. A big chance.
No bigger than before.
Oh, yeah. Bigger. If he wants to go all the way, it's a one-way ride.
You see, I was inclined to believe that my client had a round-trip ticket.
Well, maybe I can change your mind. We know a lot more than we did before. We know he had a fight with his father and got thrown out. They'd argued before, but not like this. We know he'd been out drinking. Witnesses saw him in several places. He finally wound up at the Redwood Bar. And he'd been there a while when Nikki James came in. Who knows why she went for him? Maybe she was just trying to dazzle the kid she'd seen at school. Maybe she was just lonely. They went back to her place. By the time they got there, he was ready for whatever was coming. Maybe a little too ready, but she knew how to play him. She spent some time with him, playing the game. But pretty soon another game started. She suddenly cooled and Frank became frustrated. It was a hard thing for a kid like that to believe. He'd expected a big night with a college girl and ended up with a hooker. Well, that teed him off. The trouble started. She clawed him, he hit her, and it was all over. You probably heard the milkman in panic. We've also got an eyewitness who saw Frank drive away from the scene. He's clean up to now. Hasn't got any kind of a record, not even a traffic ticket. We can go light on him.
I appreciate that, and so does he. See, he's got a funny thing about his name. It means a lot to him.
So be it, counselor. See you in court.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be there.
Hello, Mama.
Are you all right, Frank?
Sure, I'm fine.
You look thinner. They feed you all right?
They feed me fine, Mama.
Just in case I brought you this. There's no file in it. They already looked for it. It's outside.
How's Papa?
He said it was right that I come to see you.
Him?
He can't. He has his pride. Not much else. And for that, I respect him.
What about my pride?
No, Frank, not pride. Arrogance you have. What has he ever asked of you that you couldn't have given him? To do things his way, the only way he knows. Could it have cost you what it has cost him?
What has it cost him?
You. It cost him you. What's done is done. We will survive. And with God's help, soon you will be out of here.
You never even asked if I was innocent.
Neither did your papa.
Well, he knew what he was doing. Had everything covered in every direction. Okay, let's go.
According to the police report, back door had an automatic lock on it, and it was locked.
Well, it wasn't Harry Houdini who got in and out.
Listen, do you think that Crawford could be wrong?
No, no way. Pete checked him out. The guy's good, he's honest, and he's a real pro.
Hey, Pete!
Howdy. Tony, I swear, I gotta stop taking out those phone operators. They're about the thirstiest women I ever met. Must be all the talking that they do or something.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, and here's the barbell.
Can't you bribe anybody that drinks milk?
Honey?
Well, now we know why she did what she did.
Well, who did she call that night?
Her father. Senator Samuel Robert James himself.
This court in for the county of San Remo is now in session. Judge Frank Warren presiding.
He's not here.
Why did you expect him to be?
He knows what it means to me.
Does he? How? Did you ever do anything that would make him think that he mattered to you at all?
What do you know about it?
What do I know about it? Let me tell you something, kid. I grew up with a father just like him. His whole world's his family. Now, he wants to get into your world, but you won't let him. Look, he's paid his dues, kid, and he's entitled. Why don't you get your head out of the clouds and try to meet him halfway? You know, you may even see someone there you like.
Take a seat in the witness stand.
State your name and occupation, please.
William Randolph, coroner for the county of San Remo.
Now, would you kindly tell the court what you determined to be the cause of death?
We determined the cause of death to be an irreparable brain damage caused by depressed skull fracture and subsequent subdural hematoma.
I see. And the blood spots found on the body?
Type A, RH positive, same as the defendant's.
And the scrapings from under the fingernails?
From the defendant's cheek. Absolutely.
Thank you. Cross?
How you doing, Doc? Doc, I see that time of death is listed between 3:15 a.m. and 5:15 a.m. Is that correct?
That's right.
Which oddly coincides with the time that Miss James entered the house and Frank Donato left.
Nothing odd about it. She was alive before and dead after.
That's very good. Very perceptive of her. Very perceptive indeed. I also noticed that you arrived at the scene of the crime at approximately 5:50 a.m. Is that correct?
It is.
Now, as far as the blood that was found in the deceased that you stated came from the defendant, had that blood coagulated?
No.
And what about the blood under the fingernails, the cheek scrapings? Had that blood coagulated?
Well, yes, but you see, there was much less...
You know, Doctor, I'm beginning to wonder about your perception. Wouldn't that indicate to you that the two wounds might well have been made at vastly different times?
Well, yes, but...
Doctor, no further questions. Thank you.
Redirect?
No, Your Honor. The people call Howard Ekstrom.
That's your friendly neighborhood milkman.
And when he seen me, he ran like the devil. He got in his car and he drove away.
And you then went into the house?
Oh, yes, sir. He looked so suspicious, and Miss James living there alone and all. So I decided to go in. And I went into the bedroom, and I seen what he done.
Objection. Assuming fact, not an evidence, Your Honor.
Sustained. Try not to color your testimony, Mr. Ekstrom.
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, I went in, and I seen her, and I called the cops. The police.
Thank you. Your witness.
Mr. Ekstrom, now you said that you saw the defendant run out of the house.
Yes, sir.
You also stated that you saw the decedent in the bedroom.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see the two of them together?
No, sir.
Then for all you know, someone else might have killed her and was hiding in the house, then escaped when you went to the phone.
Well, I guess maybe.
Well, I guess no further questions. Thank you, Mr. Ekstrom.
Redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Witness excused.
The people call Dan Crawford.
Now, as you've testified, from your position in the street, no one could have entered or left without you seeing them.
That's correct.
That's very interesting, Mr. Crawford, because that may be the very thing that will show Frank Donato's innocence. If I may, let me take the same facts as we now know them and present them to you in a different fashion. Now, you all know Frank Donato's frame of mind, but that's not important, because Frank Donato was only a pawn in this game. Let me take you back to the Redwood Bar, late that night. A strange lost girl, Nikki James. When her mother died, she was shipped off to Europe to school. Called back to a stepmother who now had her father's love. She was lost and pushed aside. So she chose a strange way to step back into the spotlight. A way to show her father how much she didn't need his love.
Excuse me, are you Frank Donato?
Why Frank Donato? A friendly face from the past? And someone her own age? Well, whatever the reason, she chose him, and they left together. Frank had no way of knowing that Nikki was using him to regain her father's attention. Once again, she started her game. The same game she'd played before with many others. But this game would have a much different outcome. She was loved, but it cost to love her. In the same way it cost her to love. But this time, it wasn't working. She had to call the one person whose love she needed and knew she didn't have. She had to show him that other people loved her. Each time she called, she hurt. Both of them do this to me. She tried to play the game, but this time she couldn't. This time it hurt too much. Frank sensed her change of mood and got up to leave. When he touched her, it was too much for her. Once she saw what was happening, So much for the scratches on his cheek. She was sorry. She hadn't really meant to do it. She told Frank where he could clean up. Frank washed up, the booze had gotten to him, and he passed out in the bed. And then her father came, but not by the front door, which he knew was being watched, but through the rear with his key.
Nicky, you listen to me. If you persist in this behavior, you could ruin my career.
What he and Nicky argued about, we may never know. It was a fierce quarrel, and Frank Donato only heard it through a drunken stupor.
Up!
He didn't mean to kill. He was striking back at a daughter he didn't understand, who needed his love but didn't know how to ask for it. And then he ran, leaving Frank Donato to wake up to his fate. It was a dreadful crime. A father even unintentionally killing his own daughter. But perhaps that didn't happen. Perhaps it happened in yet another way. As Nicky James talked with the father and tried to hurt him by telling him she didn't need his love, perhaps someone else was listening. Someone who had witnessed this scene before, but had never done anything about it. Someone who knew what this was doing to her husband, or knew that he could never be governor with it over his head. She went to confront Nicky and an argument broke out. The quarrel continued into the bedroom, where Frank Donato, in a stupor, couldn't distinguish who was in that room or what they were saying.
So you just better stay out of my life! Where do you get off talking to me like that?
Here was someone else who didn't start out to kill, yet who ran to leave Frank Donato to bear the guilt. Now, I have just repeated the same basic evidence that the prosecution has presented. Yet any one of you can see that 1 out of 3 people could have committed that crime. Now, in the face of that, can any of you be certain beyond a reasonable doubt, that Frank Donato was responsible for that crime? Mama always told me the secret to good catering is remembering everything. So let's take an official Petrocelli inventory. Okay, we got the salami, we got the olives, we got the peppers. Now, how about a little provolone?
Oh, Tony, look, it's already so full it'll take a crane to lift it.
Come on, how much can a little provolone weigh?
You're gonna have to carry it. I got the beer and the wine.
The what? P. It's vino. Vino. Doesn't that sound better?
Vino. Yeah, it sounds better. It tastes the same.
Come on, you two. Mr. Donato must be starving.
Mrs. Donato, with all those goodies, I tell you, I'm gonna have to bring along an armed guard.
Hello. I hope you are hungry, Mr. Donato.
Not too much, but a little vino would be nice.
Didn't know.
Mama. Mrs. Petrocelli, Mr. Ritter. Thank you. Papa? A game of bocce?
That would be nice. As always, I go first, eh?
You go first.